Namaskar and welcome to Sunset Television. I am Vishal Dahiya and you're watching our show Perspective, where we bring you detailed analysis of key national and international issues. Today we're going to talk about tribal empowerment. Now, India's tribal population is spread all over the country in different geographic zones and has a rich cultural and economic diversity as well. Now, inaugurating Adi Mahotsav, the mega national tribal festival in the national capital on Thursday, Prime Minister Narendra Modi emphasized that the country is moving with unprecedented pride with regards to its tribal glory. Prime Minister Modi highlighted the efforts of the government in promoting tribal products, tribal arts and skill development for the tribal youth as well. He also said that the tribal community of India has a lot to inspire and teach with regard to sustainable development. So today we will discuss and analyze all aspects of the tribal diversity and the efforts of the government to empower these tribal communities. And for more on this, we're joined by a distinguished panel of experts. Let me first introduce them to you, beginning with, we have with us in the studio Mr. Vivekanand Nattam. He's joining us. He's assistant professor with Shamlal College in Delhi University, has a quite a trove of knowledge on tribal affairs. We'll start with you, but let me first introduce other panelists as well. Dr. Muniraju SP is also joining us, Deputy Advisor Niti Ayog. Mr. Praveer Krishna, Advisor Bodoland Tribal Council, Government of Assam, is also with us, and Mr. Amit Bhatnagar, General Manager, TriFed with the Ministry of Tribal Affairs in the Government of India, is also with us. Welcome, all of you gentlemen as well. I'll start with you first, Mr. Bhatnagar, since, let's first talk about this particular festival, Adi Mahotsav, and whys and hows of it, as in, why are we holding this mega festival and what kind of purpose does it serve?
Yes, TriFed, which is an organization under Ministry of Tribal Affairs, we are the marketing development facilitators for marketing of tribal products. Adi Mahotsav is one such platform where we invite tribal artisans from all across India to market their produce, and we give them a platform where opportunity of selling their goods and to understand the consumer behavior and the visitors who visit them and buy their product, so that they can adapt their product accordingly and come out with new innovations. The Adi Mahotsav, which has been inaugurated today by Honorable Prime Minister, is another link. It is the first Adi Mahotsav in this year in a series of many Adi Mahotsav which we have been doing for the last many years. And around 500 artisans have come, 1,000 artisans have come from all across India. We have 200 stalls there. The objective of this Adi Mahotsav is to promote tribal craft, cuisine and commerce. So they get opportunity to sell their product and see what people want from tribal products, and it helps promote tribal art and craft among the general masses.
Okay. So clearly this is a platform, the festival, national festival Adi Mahotsav, which is known as a platform for tribals to go ahead and display their skills, display their products as well, give them a platform. Various such initiatives being taken. This is one of them. Let's now, understand a bit more about the tribals in India. Mr. Vivekanand, if you could tell us, how significant tribals are a part of Indian culture and their own diverse culture. There are so many tribes, they have their own culture.
Thank you. Thank you so much, sir, for inviting me in this discussion. And I must congratulate you to have thought about this discussion on this particular day when Prime Minister is inaugurating Adi Mahotsav. And as you asked, somewhere around 8.6 to 9% of the total population of India is constituted by tribal communities. And as it is a rough estimate say that if all the tribal communities of India were joined together and formed a new nation, it would be the 13th largest country in terms of population. Such is the population that India has. That is one aspect. And so what have we done for their development? So there are a lot of provisions that we have made legally in our constitution. And subsequently also, you must have heard about the Panchayat Extension to the Scheduled Areas Act 1996, and then 2006, the Forest Rights Act. So these provisions have been made. But still, if we look at the tribal communities, their status seems a bit neglected or a bit backward in comparison to the communities which are living in the rural areas or in urban areas. So this one gap that has to be bridged up, and particularly since 2014, Prime Minister Narendra Modi ji has and his government has taken some rapid strides and important strides in order to bridge the gap. For example, Prime Minister, when he was speaking at the inaugural speech of the Adi Mahotsav, he sort of laid out a very detailed roadmap in which he said, one thing is their cultural connection with the nature. That's very important when we are talking about the global warming thing, environmental protection.
It teaches us a lot about sustainable development.
Yes, sustainable development. And we must remember that tribal communities have lived in the jungles and forests amongst plant species and amongst animal species, but then they haven't destroyed them totally. And therefore, this is very important, which Prime Minister also has quite candidly mentioned in his speech. So therefore, when we are heading the presidency of G20, and when we are also talking about sustainable development issues and the protection in relation, the issues in relation to the environmental protection, which we will devise and bring to the table for the international community to negotiate and discuss, I think we have a lot to learn from the tribal communities. Just one point that I wanted to make, that is how to live life with the nature and take only that much which is necessary to sustain ourselves. But as Gandhiji said, the earth has enough to suffice our needs but not greeds. And that is something that we still need to learn from the tribal communities. They are the real upholders of this idea.
Indeed, there is a lot to learn from the tribal communities, from their culture, from their way of living, from their wisdom as well, which they have gained over centuries of their stay in the forest, in amongst the nature specifically, and in harmony, having lived with the various aspects of nature as well. But also, the question also remains, what is it that we are doing? And we need to, shed more light on that as well. Let me bring in Mr. Praveer Krishna here as well. Mr. Krishna, what is the status, or like, if you have to understand a bit more about the tribal culture in northeastern India, Borderland Tribal Council, you're an advisor out there. How is it different from, tribals in other parts of the India? Of course, every tribe has its own diverse culture and even diverse economy as well.
Every tribal segment, like you rightly said, is different from the other and has a very unique ethos of its own in every part of the country that it resides. It is entirely dependent, looks like the forest it lives in. And it represents, not only represents, it sort of is a representative of the area that it belongs to. So tribals have one thing in common. They are master craftsmen. They are master gatherers and they are master craftsmen. What they produce is world class, but what they lack is a little marketing professionalism. So TriFed and this effort that Adi Mahotsav is trying to showcase the marketing capabilities that has to be added to the tribal ecosystem. You see, tribals produce almost 26, while I was working with TriFed as its managing director for almost 5 years, and I am happy to see Mr. Muniraju and Amit here. They produce almost 26,000 varieties of products. And they're all produced at places they reside. So the problem is the connect to the market. So the tradition, what is called get in the clutches of the middlemen. Since they don't have access to large markets, they have to sell these world-class products that they produce at very low prices. So TriFed as the marketing arm of the government of India, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs, has taken upon this initiative to take these products to not only the country, but to the world. And you know what will happen? By branding, value addition, and marketing, the price will go up to at least 5 times. For example, let me give you a simple example of tamarind. Tamarind in the rural areas sells for 30 rupees a kg. You deseed the tamarind, defiber it sells for 250 rupees a kg. You convert it into sauces and chutneys, it sells for 500 to 600 rupees a kg. You bottle it, package it, it sells for 1,000 rupees a kg. So this journey from 30 to 1,000 is what the tribal has to gain, at least 70 to 80% of it. At the moment, Without the marketing capabilities, he's getting 30 rupees, but with branding, packaging, and marketing, he's getting about 1,000 for the same product. So simply put, this is what TriFit is trying to do, and this is what Adi Mahotsav is trying to showcase.
Okay.
Tribals everywhere in the country are the protectors of our forest, are the protectors of our environment, are role models for the world of how to protect the environment and how to protect the forest. And if we can add this commerce to the whole activities that they undertake over traditionally that they have been doing thousands of years, you have pushed them up the economic ladder. So the Prime Minister's vision of taking a high jump, that the tribals cannot go by step into the and move up the development ladder. We need to push them through a high jump into the big market economy and a market-led development so that their incomes can be quadrupled and increased multiple times.
Okay.
So the Adi Mahotsav is sort of sampling about 1,000 tribal entrepreneurs from the country who are now not only master producers but also professional marketing people.
Okay.
So adding the skill of marketing to the skill of production is what the whole Adi Mahotsav is showcasing, and I'm certainly delighted to see this happening, and will take this whole enterprise of promoting tribal entrepreneurship to the world, showcasing it before the world to the next level, and will be a game changer for the tribal economic development.
Okay. So that pretty much is the crux of how to give a fillip to the tribal economy by taking on the positives of the tribal culture, their own skills as well. Let me bring in from Niti Ayog, Dr. Muniraj, SP as well. Dr. Muniraj, at the policy level, giving them a market or helping them to market their product is one part of it. But at the policy level, when we see at a larger scale, so that every tribe can benefit from that, what is the journey that we have traveled in terms of caring for these people and also giving them a push and sort of, bringing them into the mainstream as well in various aspects?
Thank you so much for taking this issue of tribal development into the discussion points at the National Census TV. I really appreciate the effort of Census TV and its entire team. You see, the development of tribals is a continuous process, and of course, the development, what we expect at the national level or at the state level or the district level, is not achieved in the past. Therefore, Honorable Prime Minister has clear vision of Sabka Saath, Sabka Vikas, and that vision, Prime Minister is focusing, and we know that over the years, especially in the 9 years of this government, we have done many things. For example, I'll tell you the allocation for the tribal plan has been increased multiple times. It was hardly some 22,000 crores in 2014. Today, it has 28,000 crores has been allocated for the tribal development. Because if you see the human development indicators for the tribal communities, they are lagging much behind any other population. You take the infant mortality rate, education level, or economic participation. They are very weaker in terms of economic activities are concerned. Therefore, they have all the skills of producing tribal products. They have all skills of all millet products. They have all the skills of bringing taste into the aroma into the food items. They have all the knowledge about the Ayurvedic items and the plants which are there growing in the forest and forest habitat areas. But unfortunately, they are not getting equal opportunities as Dr. Parveen Krishna sir highlighted. They are not getting opportunity to economically sell their products in the market. Therefore, government is thinking through that all these products, they can be sold to the mainstream economy and get the revenue generated so that their economic empowerment can happen in a rapid way. With that focus today, this Honorable Prime Minister has inaugurated the event at Dhyanchand National Academy of Sport. So, and overall policy is concerned, we are focusing on mainly the tribal sub-plan to improve that. There are about 44 ministries, departments of union government have been obligated to allocate a certain percentage of funds that is equivalent in proportion of the tribal population. Those funds are allocated by almost all 42 ministries, departments, and they are distributed among all the development schemes so that the tribal development can take place. So that funds really reaching the tribal habitations, tribal communities, their economic empowerment is very, very important, because unless the tribals are improved, we cannot assess the country as a grown. We all know that India is going much faster way
Indeed.
in these last 9 years of present government, and much focus is given so that tribals also can come to the mainstream by economic participation, and also by social development, educational improvement, and also the health indicators improvement.
Okay.
That's how government is focusing overall development of the tribals by giving importance to the tribal development and bringing the policy.
Indeed.
Especially, we all know that in this budget itself, Honorable Finance Minister announced a PVTG mission with 15,000 crores allocation exclusively for the particularly vulnerable tribal groups, because about 75 PVTGs are lagging much behind the general tribal population. That's
Indeed.
how
Indeed, and Dr. Murina's, the budget allocation has gone up by 5 times when we compare it to 2014, specifically for the tribal communities out there. But coming back to the tribal products part, which Mr. Praveer Krishna was referring to, and Mr. Bhatnagar was also talking about. Mr. Bhatnagar, I'd like to bring you in here. Apart from these big events like Adi Mahotsava, wherein there is a platform for the tribal products and for them to showcase their talent as well. TriFed, what is it doing in terms of giving a further push to the tribal products? In what ways and means are we moving ahead on that? Mr. Bhatnagar?
Yes, TriFed is implementing Ministry of Tribal Affairs ambitious scheme, Pradhan Mantri Janjatiya Vikas Mission. It is a holistic mission which TriFed is implementing, and under this mission, minimum support price is also provided to tribal for 87 produces which are available from the forest and on which lives of tribals depend heavily. 40 to 45% of tribal incomes come from minor forest produce. And 87 items have been identified for which minimum support price has been announced, for which revolving fund is provided to the states, and they procure and then sell their produce. And in case they incur any loss, the central government, Ministry of Tribal Affairs, reimburses their loss. The idea is that the tribal should get a minimum price like agriculture farmer. They should get this minimum price from the items which are available from the forest. That is one. And in order to support this procurement of minor forest produce, grants are provided to state implementing agencies so that they can create infrastructure, because normally all the minor forest produces are marketed through their Haat Bazaar, which are informal markets in different places. So in order to modernize these Haat Bazaars, grant is provided so that minimum facilities can be provided there for storage, for minimum processing. So all these grants are provided for this purpose. Beside this, we have recently introduced Vandhan Yojana. It was in 2019-20 when Mr. Praveer Krishna was our managing director. This scheme was initiated, and presently 3,225 Vandhan Vikas Kendras have been sanctioned, and they are at different stages of development, in which 9,64,000 beneficiaries are associated. The idea of this Vandhan Vikas Kendra is to provide support to a group of, say, 300 tribal beneficiaries with the financial support of 15 lakh, with which they can start their enterprise and give and start value addition activities for the minor forest producers which they collect from the forest.
So a lot of work being done out there, Mr. Bhatnagar. That gives us an idea as to how this entire support for the tribal products and tribal skills is there. But let's now turn focus towards one very important cornerstone of tribal development, and for that matter, any development, that is education. Mr. Nathan, when we look at the issue of education, Eklavya model schools have been established, almost 400 of them. And in fact, this year in the budget, there is a budgetary support allocation which has been made for around 38,000, if I'm not wrong, teaching and support staff for these schools. So if you could tell us more about how this works, and then, how are we moving ahead in bringing education to the tribal people?
That's an important question. Before I come to this question, I would want to put certain aspects which I believe are necessary. I I'm also associated with Vanvasi Kalyanashram, the largest organization working for the overall development of tribal communities in India. It was established in 1952 and today it has reached to every nook and corner of this country. There must not be a single village untouched by the activities of the Vanvasi Kalyanashram. We and along with we and also in consonance with the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, Shri Harsh Chavanji, I have remained associated with NCST's activities also. I think it is important for us to take care of Asmita, Astitva and Vikas, means the identity, existence and the development. These three aspects of tribal development are intrinsically connected. Therefore, any influence that will dissuade them or that will sort of vanish the Asmita part, the identity part, leading to the vanishing of the existence part, and which would also have severe implications on the existence part. I think in the policy circles, these things need to be taken care of.
Okay.
Just to put the things in perspective, in 1991, the Ministry of Tribal Affairs was established during NDA government, which was a part of Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment. Similarly, the National Commission for Scheduled Tribes, which was part of the National Commission for Scheduled Caste. So that was bifurcated in the 2004, again in NDA government, and that was made a National Commission for Scheduled Caste because the issues related to the Scheduled Caste and Scheduled Tribes are totally different. And their social parameters are also different. Therefore, they have to be taken into consideration.
Okay.
In this context, I believe the new education policy is very important, and the establishment of the Eklavya model
schools,
which have the approved sanction, I think, are more than 500. 400 of them, I think, are
already
functioning, and the budgetary allocations are also more in number.
Okay.
So this is very important, and Prime Minister also has very categorically maintained in today's inaugural speech that along with the skill development, and scientific temperament would also be invoked in the minds of tribal communities so that they just do not remain confined to their traditional setups, but they will go and make the value addition to their whatever products that they have been producing in different parts of India. And one aspect, and that is the identity part. So in Eklavya model schools, they are also being made aware of their language, their culture, which is called as intangible cultural heritage in anthropological terms. I think these things are to be taken into consideration when we are evolving the models of development.
Okay, there it is. We're running short of time. Otherwise, there are many aspects which we should talk about when it comes to tribal development or tribal empowerment as well. But I must thank all of you for bringing in all these aspects. Vivekanand, Praveer Krishna ji out there, Dr. Muniraj and Mr. Amit Bhatnagar as well, talking about the tribal culture, the tribal skill and their skill development and education, of course, as well. Very important cornerstones. And as the Prime Minister said, we also have a lot to learn from the tribal communities, specifically when it comes to sustainable development. We'll come back again on this topic and few more as well. Keep watching Sunset Television. Thank you.